Leo, welcome to your reading for the month of April. We're going to go over themes and opportunities and what to avoid and what to embrace and all sorts of stuff. So we're going to start with some oracle cards, and while I'm shuffling the oracle cards, just take a couple of deep breaths, call in your spirit guides or talk to spirit, ask questions, ask for a sign. It's a general reading, so some of it will resonate, some of it won't. Definitely take what resonates and reject what does not resonate. I'm always really clear on, like, if it doesn't resonate, don't entertain it as a, like with these readings, you really want to feel it as, if it doesn't feel true, then that's not resonating. If it feels true to you, then it really is. And so definitely take what resonates and reject what does not. And so for the month of April, Leo, breadcrumbs of bliss, and from fear to fuel. Okay, and I'm just going to grab from one other deck. This is just another card for the theme. I have here. Wow. Okay, so what we have in terms of a theme, let me just take a look at this and then I will let you know what I'm seeing. So we have this says breadcrumbs of bliss. Heed your pleasure principle. It's actually, this came out in another reading. Yeah, you might actually, you might get along with Aries this month, because I think this came out in their reading as well. So, this is really about letting desire be the organizing principle in terms of your goals. Moving from a place of desire rather than any number of other reasons to like ambitiously move in a direction. This is saying to move in a direction, following, what makes you feel good, following what is related to your desire. And from fear to fuel, stand still in your own power. This is really speaking of like allowing desire to lead you, allowing desire to, show you where to go, but also being, very grounded and rooted in your sense of your own power. And again, you're not going to be driven in directions by fear. You're going to let what you want and like what you desire be how you choose directions, and then really like allowing yourself from moving from like a fear of like maybe doing it wrong or whatever it is, into a place where like your desires are fueling your directions. And this is very much standing in your power and going beyond normal. What this card says to me is you're not really moving as directed by the expectations of others, but really, in getting like in contact and connecting with your desires, and allowing that to be, what navigates you. That it might not be, you might not, it's not in service to others' expectations. Really, it's not about like attaining like a level of, fitting in or normalcy. This is really about coming into your own power and being led by your own desire and your own power in the direction that, in your future trajectory, in the direction where you're going. And so your theme is really just, following what you want and what you desire, and having that be your fuel, having what you want be your fuel, and being okay with like the fact that like maybe it doesn't fit in and maybe it's not, what the crowd thinks is what you want, but it's just like what you want, and really latching onto what you want and like moving with that into April and through April. And so I love that theme. I think that's a really like beautiful, empowering theme. So let's like jump right in. I'm gonna actually, as I shuffle for the meat of the reading, I'm actually gonna change the view down so you can see the shuffle and the spread. Sorry about that, my hand in the way. I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit more. All right, so let's start up, and we're gonna just start with like a key goal to pursue. Like, what is a key goal that Spirit would have you pursue, Leo, in the month of April? What is a key goal that Spirit would have you pursue in the month of April for Leo? A key goal Spirit would have you pursue in the month of April for Leo. Key goal for Leo, month of April. Let's see what comes out here. So I'm drawn to that. Okay. So Spirit really wants you, the bottom of the deck energy is stepping out in a new direction in the way that you're thinking. So, adjusting your thinking. So the way that you normally approach things and normally go after things and normally, attend to your goals, you're going to have a shift in the way that you're thinking. And so that you're attending to your goals in like a new, from a new mental framework. And as that, and in terms of how that all, let's see if I can get this all in the frame. In terms of pursuing your goals, it's like pursuing your goals from a place of insight and intellect. And this being the Page of Swords, like, shifting into a new direction, like, or a new way of approaching your goals from like a different vantage point of thought, from like a new insight and a new way of thinking about it. And Spirit wants you to pursue this is the card of like holding on for dear life to the things that you have. It's a card of clinging, but it's also a card of feeling like there's not enough. And so Spirit says, in terms of your goals, like really understanding that you have all of this passion and all this power with this King of Wands energy, that you really do have everything that you need, and all of the power and the ability and the strength to move out of this place of feeling like there's not enough, or feeling like you're clinging, or feeling like there's a level of scarcity, and understand that like you do have all the power to move into a much more expansive place, like, related to this idea of like letting your desires really lead you, and as your desires are leading you, understanding that that's really empowering you and moving you to a place where like, desire becomes your fuel, and like fear, and this is a fear card too, fear of losing, like, like whatever stability that you have, you're moving out of that fear and moving towards your goals again with this insight having changed, like this mental, framework changing. The mental framework changes that that you're powerful, that you have everything that you need in order to get past this feeling of not being strong enough, and like, past this feeling like your efforts might fail, and that you've put a lot of work into all kinds of things and it didn't work out, and into this place of like healing and being admired and being seen, and really in the star position, like really elevating and stepping into that place where you are seen and admired, and you have come through, and you're in a place where you've healed, not just like in a place of healing, but in a place of being healed, and having that that brightness of being of like in that, from that healed space. And so your goals, Spirit would say, like, a key goal to pursue is knowing that you've got everything that you need to like move out of a space of feeling like there isn't enough, and that your efforts are frustrated, into a space of like, you have everything you need to really heal. That's it. So, and just understanding, like, from a intellectual place, you've got what it takes to heal, and you've got what it takes to, achieve your goals, and that you're not lacking, in resources, and you're not lacking in ability. You really do have everything that it takes to get yourself to this place that is a healed, elevated, and admired position. And so that's the goal. The key goal for you, Leo, in the month of April is that you really, you have what it takes. If you set your mind to it, anything that you set your mind to, you really do have what it takes. And so let's look at any kind of obstacles that need to be overcome in the month of April for you, Leo. What are some obstacles that need to be overcome in the month of April? What are some obstacles that need to be overcome in the month of April? What are some obstacles that need to come in the month of April? Some obstacles that need to be overcome in the month of April. Okay. So in the month of April, bottom of the deck energy of obstacles to overcome in the month of April. In the upright, this is planning for the future and moving in that direction. Upside down, it's a sense of like not knowing what direction to go, sort of at a standstill. And so an obstacle to overcome, you've got, this is a card of options. This is a card of having lots of options. And this is a card, and in the reverse, this is like deceit and sneaky. In the reverse, it's like coming out of a place of like deception, and that might be like deceiving yourself. And so an obstacle to overcome is, Spirit would have you move out of a place of even like self-deception, or feeling like there's, feeling like that the people aren't being honest with you in your environment, just moving out of that space, and also out of the space of feeling like you can't move forward in life, and you don't know where you're going, and you don't know how to plan, and you don't know how to choose a direction, because Spirit is saying like, there's plenty of options and there's plenty of directions, but of all of these options, Spirit would have you understand that it's a real obstacle to choose fear. To choose, a negative expectation of the people around you, to choose, a stagnant inability to sort of start, in a direction that you find will like be meaningful and sustainable, for your future. The obstacle to overcome is feeling this stuck and indecision, and to really see that there's just a world of opportunities for you, and a world of things that you can, that you can have access to. I mean, it's all there. So it's just a change in, it's almost like, getting rid of a negative, like a very deeply held negative belief that things, that you can't, that there's no direction, that there's no movement forward, because this is like, but this is coming across to me as a lack of trust. That's what that feels like. It feels like a lack of trust. So really feeling stuck because of a lack of trust. I'm feeling like you don't know how to move forward in life because of a lack of trust. Spirit wants you to know that like you have so many options for growth and expansion, and improving your relationships, and learning. I mean, there's just so much for you. There's an endless array of experiences and places and directions and ways in which to view things, and ways in which to be in relationship to others, and ways in which to be in relationship to your goals, and even related to work. There's so many options for you. And so, this lack of trust, Spirit really would have you let go of that lack of trust, so that you can move out of this place of feeling like you don't have like a direction, that's, and feeling stuck. So like that's the obstacle to overcome, is to actually like trust in the universe that there's plenty for you, and that when you set your mind to it, you're really going to move into this beautiful, healed, like admired position. And so now let's ask Spirit like about an accomplishment. Like, what is an accomplishment for Leo in the month of April? What is an accomplishment for Leo in the month of April? What is an accomplishment for Leo in the month of April? Well, the bottom of the deck energy is just, this is like the ultimate emotional fulfillment. This is happy family. This is all of your emotional cups are filled, and you're feeling really good. So like the bottom of the deck, the accomplishment is just really coming into this place of like emotional fulfillment. And so that's a beautiful accomplishment for the month of April. How that plays out, again, accomplishing a level of balance, going from a place of feeling really unbalanced to feeling balanced, going from a place to feeling really disconnected to your spiritual core, or your center, your own personal center of gravity, and finding that space, moving into a space of being really honest with yourself about what you care about and what your priorities are, moving out of a place of conflict and strife, and really like as you move towards balance with really plugging into your spiritual attributes, and with that plugging into your spiritual your spiritual attributes, and like taking time to get in touch with your guides and spirit, and really like plugging into that, so that you find this balance. And that's really coming to a place of honesty with yourself, where you are able to sort of let go of all of that conflict, and move into a position of like this very emotionally fulfilled, happy, like beautiful, this is, you know, the cups are emotions, and the Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment, and the Ten of Cups is ultimate wish fulfillment. That's the ultimate goal. So, you know, the bottom of the deck is really, you know, it's great in terms of like your accomplishment is just coming into this place of emotional fulfillment, but it does require really plugging into that inner center of gravity, that seat of the soul, and that relationship to the divine, so that you can retrieve that balance, seriously be honest with yourself, and like move out of that place of conflict and really into that place of like emotional fulfillment. That's a great accomplishment. I'm loving that for you. Let's take a look at what Spirit would have you avoid in the month of April. What would Spirit have you avoid in the month of April? What would Spirit have you avoid in the month of April? What would Spirit have you avoid in the month of April? What would Spirit have you avoid? Well, let's see. Let me move this over just a little bit. So, let me just take a second to sit with this energy. Just like feel into it. Spirit wants you to avoid a hyper defensiveness. Spirit wants you to really focus on self-love, to avoid having all of your energy poured into like defending yourself at all times. Again, this comes back to trust. You know, Spirit really wants you to like work with self-worth. You know, this card in the upright is self-love, you know, a gift from the divine, you know, and this is not really accepting it, or, you know, this is like a lack of self-love or self-worth. So Spirit wants you to sort of tap into your intuition, sort of enter that place. Again, this comes back to what was just said. Like, this is a card of like psychics, like pre-verbal intuition. You know, this is like the feminine, beautiful, like it's a spiritual, beautiful spiritual energy. It's your psychic gifts. It's your intuition. It's an abundance that is beyond words. That is just, it's like a supernatural beauty, and being endowed with this beautiful energy, this beautiful supernatural energy. It's very feminine, it's a very powerful feminine position. And so Spirit wants you to sort of work from there and really, like, you know, start attending to your self-worth, and not giving so much away that you don't have anything left for yourself. And again, you know, Spirit wants you to really think about what it would mean to be in a place that felt tranquil, as opposed to sort of this inner chaos that I, you know, feel very much associated with, like feeling like you have to really defend yourself all the time. And, you know, defend yourself from chaos, and defend yourself from unfairness, and defend yourself from exploitation. And, you know, really in this, like this whole issue of self-worth, like Spirit wants you to like really move into this energy, your spiritual self. And that came up in like the last, like, you know, what we pulled before with the Hangman, is it's like so crucial for you to really get in touch with this source. It's like a wellspring of energy and healing that you have, that is accessible to you. And Spirit really wants you to grab that and take a hold of that, and allow that to propel you out of this hyper defensiveness, which is very emotionally draining. It just drains you, and out of a place of feeling like unworthy. This is like, when this is up, this is charity. And when it's upside down, you know, this could be equal to give and take too, but this is really charity in the upright. But when it's upside down, it's kind of exploitation. You know, this is moving from choppy, chaotic waters into calm waters. And when you have it upside down, it's clinging to chaos. So, you know, exploitation and staying with chaos, and a lack of self-love, and a lack of really, you know, valuing and, you know, self-worth, and hyper defensiveness. Spirit wants you to avoid all that, and instead really plug in. Just spend time in the morning, you know, with, you know, Spirit would have you turn to prayer, or turn to meditation, or turn to yeah, Spirit wants you to tap into that spiritual wellspring, and really listen to your intuition, and really like spend time with yourself, and spend time plugging into those innermost desires. And that really comes back to the theme of the month, plugging into what those innermost desires are, really getting, like, allowing your intuition to feel that through. I see someone feeling around in the dark, finding those, that motivation that comes from desire, and in that's where the fuel goes from fear into like things that make you happy. And so that's Spirit wants you to really avoid these positions of, exploitation, chaos, lack of self-love, hyper-defensiveness, and as an antidote, plug into your spiritual wellspring. Lean on your spiritual support team, because that's going to be really super helpful for you. Now let's take a look at, let's ask Spirit, what would Spirit have you embrace, and where can you find support in the month of April? What can Leo embrace, and where can Leo find support in the month of April? Where can Leo embrace, and where can Leo find support in the month of April? Okay, so wish fulfillment. This is the bottom of the deck. So like where your support is going to come from, and what you should really be embracing is wish fulfillment. And that comes right back to like following desire, letting desire be the navigator, and like moving away from fear being the navigator, and into this place of like, where is my desire leading me? This is the wish fulfillment. So that's the bottom of the deck energy. So where you're going to find your strength. You're going to find your strength in, you are strong. Spirit's pointing out that you are so strong, and to just like acknowledge that, to know that, to not question it, to not wonder about it. Like that's, so important, and that's something that you should really embrace and understand as a real support to you. This is a passionate new idea, inspiration, friendship, romantic entanglement. It could be, this is a passionate new beginning that's coming in very quickly. And this might just be related to just like, a new hobby that just like really inspires and excites you, and allows you to, again, like tap back into like where you find pleasure, like how, and then letting that like move you forward, and like that, being an organizing principle in terms of like how you, go after your goals, and how you, how you operating from a place of desire. Embrace the stability that you've created. This is the 10 of coins, and again, this is tangible stability. So you've worked hard, and you've created a stable, you've created a level of stability for yourself where you're never going to find yourself desolate. This goes with you wherever you go. The amount of this, like the coins, these are tangible, material, like gains, wealth. And, to go from 0 to 10 means you've really, like, and again, this is like a stability of home, a stability of self. You've earned it. You've put the work into it. You have this. This is some place to look for support. This is some place to embrace. This is like what you want to embrace right now, that you've really accumulated a wealth of stability that isn't going to leave you. And that you don't need to make any radical changes, because Spirit would have you know that like your wish fulfillment really comes from within. It's something that you provide yourself with. It's not something that you have to go find. It's in you. Embrace the fact that you are in a healing process, that, like this is, this is a card about, being in a place of rest and healing, and that you've been in a healing process. And as you move out of this healing process, embrace that there might just be like a little bit of, the Spirit, what is that word? It's, I feel the sensation again. I'm trying to find the word for it. Like that the amount of healing that you've done may lead you to feel a little bit, the word is escaping me. What is this feeling? Disoriented. That coming out of this healing space might lead you into like a sense of slight disorientation. Spirit wants you to understand that like embrace that you have been healing. And the effects of healing is often to have a shift in perspective, and to embrace that shift in perspective, to understand again that the stability goes with you everywhere you go, and that you do not have to like make any kind of like you don't have to make any radical changes at this moment in time, aside from really just embracing that you are strong, that you have this tremendous strength, and like allowing like your desires and things that, again, breadcrumbs of bliss, following those breadcrumbs of bliss, heed your pleasure principle, following that, that's to be embraced. Along with like knowing that you're strong and you've got what it takes, because ultimately your wish fulfillment is within you all the way. So let's take a look real fast at, let's just close out with, let's ask Spirit for some advice for you. Let's ask Spirit for some advice for Leo in April. What is some advice for Leo in April? What is some advice for Leo in April? Spirit for some advice for Leo in April. All right, so advice for you in April is that, again, back to, this is reminding me of that strength card. This is endurance. This is rock. It also reminds me of that 10 of coins. The stability and like tangible wealth that you have been able to create, like with your career and with your life and with your relationships, all of that, this is about endurance. You've got it. You've got everything you need. Spirit really wants to assure you that you've got everything you need from this point where you are right now to move from where you are into this next sort of like phase in April where you are getting out of fear. Fear is no longer fueling you. It's all going to be about what makes you feel good. And Spirit says, and that comes from a place of like being grounded in just how powerful and accomplished you really are. And Spirit wants you to know that, like, in terms of advice, like, even big emotions, you really have this tremendous strength. You really have this tremendous power. You've got way more than you realize. And as you shift from being motivated from fear into being motivated by, the things that you love, the things that you desire, the pleasure principle, to the extent that kicks up, some big emotions, Spirit says you've got everything it takes to sort of work with that and heal. You definitely do. You will be healing. That's part of your accomplishment. Again, volcanoes, this is power. Spirit is like, you are this fiery, powerful energy. Spirit wants to just like say over and over and over again, you have the strength, the passion, the power, the stability. You've got everything you need, and your wish fulfillment comes from within. And you are shifting in April out of a place of you're no longer going to be fueled by fear. And this is going to be like an explosive revelation for you. And it's going to give you tremendous power. And it's going to give you like the impetus to like really allow yourself to go beyond normal. Allow yourself to be extraordinary. And Spirit says, that so much of that, like I'm hearing like, oh, I don't know what I want anymore. And Spirit is saying like, you are a passionate person. You are going to remember what it is that you love. You are going to remember what it is to, Spirit is basically saying like, desire, it will come to you. It's such a natural process that when you're taking your energy out of anxiety, when you're taking your energy out of fear, when you're taking your energy back from, things that are no longer serving you, the passion pops right up. The heart really knows how to heal itself. It's always the mind that is the problem. The heart heals itself very naturally. It's the mind and the thinking, and then this went wrong and that went wrong and that happened and this happened and this and that and that. That's where you get tripped up. Your wellspring of passion, that fiery energy that is just such a part of who you are, that's not gone anywhere. It may be latent, but it's not gone anywhere. And this is really a month where, as you listen to what you want, as you listen to your desires, and as you let that propel you forward, as you let your desires be the fuel and move way out of that fear, and as you allow yourself to be extraordinary, That's this explosion of power that reminds you about that, you know, that you have all of these passions for life, and you have all this passion at your disposal as fuel. And that's really, you know, that's the shift that you're making. And so Spirit is really encouraging you that you've got everything that you need, all the strength in the world, and that the big emotions that come up, you can manage them because you are this strong and you have accumulated the strength and the stability and the ability to actually like make your dreams come true by moving from fear as a fuel to desire as a fuel. It's just really, it's beautiful. So I am excited for you this month, Leo. I feel like this is going to be a really wonderful month of you moving in the right direction towards things that are just going to make you feel like that are going to serve you. And again, like being fueled by the stuff that you love and being propelled in the direction, like as a result of like following the things that you love, like it leads to more of the things you love. And so this is just a really beautiful month of you like coming into that knowledge. So I hope some of that resonated and was helpful, and I will see you next month.